Yo, what's good, Wiz Gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei, and welcome to Reading with Ryan. Today we're covering, I guess, walking and moving and how breaking it up in your gaming session, if that's good for you, we'll find out. Because the quote goes, "I'd rather be walking in the right direction than running in the wrong one." So, if this is your first time watching, welcome, baby. Uh, this stream, what I like to do is I like to take an article, I like to chop it up, I like to read it out loud, I like to allow the ADHD bouncing ball to follow wherever it wants to go, and all the while trying to make articles and stuff fun and enjoyable for all of you, because I know reading sucks, right? So, if you want to learn more about me, or yo, you want to figure out how to best yo, what's up for you, Magic Baby? What's good? What's good? If you want to figure out the best way to climb in your game or start walking in the right direction, visit my website psychsensei.com. Fill out a free consultation form, and you and I can sit down and see what's kind of going on, and get you to where you want to be. I actually had a consultation this morning with a gamer. Super fun, really insightful. Really love talking with all of you and getting to know you. So if you want to fill out that free consultation form, it's a fun 30 minutes where you get to chop it up, see what's kind of going on. Also, while you're there, might as well follow the TikToks, the LinkedIn, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Instagrams. All of it can be found on my website, so check that stuff out. And, yo, as always, this is more fun if you got other things that you want to distract me and talk about. So if you got questions, put them down in the chat. We can always have a conversation. Honestly, if this turns into me talking to all of you and answering all your questions about gaming, life, psychology, all of it. Yo, what's good, Jinx? I'm good, baby. I'm good. We are vibing. We're vibing. We're chilling. Um, Hell yeah. So yeah, I mean, I do this for y'all. I do this for y'all. So if you want to talk about anything else, the article here is just content and stuff for me to talk about. But like I said, if y'all want to talk about other things, or if you want to talk about esports or life, that's more exciting for me, honestly. All right, so while y'all cook, questions up or whatever, let's see what we got here, baby. The coolest thing too is like, I'm not gonna lie, I really love seeing everyone's little bouncing characters on the bottom, the Naruto characters. It's really cool. So thanks for following, so you can get your bouncing character too. All right. So as always, any questions you got, leave them down in the chat. Um, I'll get to them, and we can talk stories. But if not, let's read a little bit. All right, today's article is called "Breaking Up Prolonged Sitting with a 6-Minute Walk Improves Executive Function in Women and Men Esport Players, a Randomized Trial." And this harkens back down to, I believe it was a physical therapist who always say, "Then your best position is your next position." I really love that quote, dude. It's catchy. I'm not gonna lie, it's catchy. Um, and I guess sitting is bad, or prolonged sitting might be bad. That's the rumor on the street. We'll see how accurate that is. This comes from. Let's see, where is this coming from? Oop. Oh, I did the cardinal sin. Hold on. It's not charging, bro. Rutro. There we go. All right, the cardinal sin. We gotta share it to my thing. If I'm not a spokesperson, but if you want to use Notability, I think it's a pretty cool app, especially if you're a student. You can also AI some like questions and stuff. It's crazy, but I'd like to use it. It's nice for highlighting and stuff, and also you can do fun stuff like this. All right, so this article comes from. Where'd they come from? I thought they were gonna give me a country, but it's brought to you by. This is also the fun part. DeFrancisco Donahue, dude, my boy Seth Jenny, Doris, Ahmad, Ewan, Hassan, Ghan, Abraham, and Sosa. I believe this is by 2025. So this is, well, no, sorry, we are doing 2021. So we're going back in time a little bit, but you know, good data, good data. Okay. All right. Also, if you are part of the Voltaic group, or Voltaic Discord tomorrow, sorry, not tomorrow, next week, Monday, 2 p.m. PST, I'm hosting another AMA. So if you want to ask your questions or interact with me there, we can do some work. But if you are not part of the Discord, yo, go join that community. Super fun always. Love them all. All right, so introduction. Video gameplay is harmonious with prolonged bouts of sitting. You don't say. Although players are seated for prolonged periods and do not experience the physical demands that are seen in conventional sports, competing in video games, i.e. esports, can be quite physically and mentally demanding in other ways. Oosh, yes, I'm on a stream, baby. I'm trying to bring it back and be more consistent. This is how I found you. Oh, really? And I love your topics. You're well with your words. Thanks, man. You found me through Twitch, or you found me through the Discord? Okay, you know what this makes me think of? All right, when they say like, oh, it's like physically and mentally demanding. I read this other article that measured the heart rate, resting heart rate, and like active heart rate of esport players as a like game, and they found that basically, you know, when you're in a clutch situation, or you're really focusing, or you're really trying to get like high scores or do really really well, your your active heart rate actually goes up to be the same as like jogging or like running, but unlucky, they aren't the same activity. So just because your heart rate increases with excitement to video games and what's happening in your video game, it's not the same as actually exercising. So don't get it twisted. That's all I'm saying. Just because your heart's beating doesn't mean that you're exercising your whole entire body. You still need to go for a walk or aerobic exercises. Voltaic? Yeah, baby. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. That means, you know, because you found me through Voltaic, 4am Magic, the other thing that I must look for then is more aiming first-person shooting articles. Because a lot of the articles that I'm finding are like for MOBAs. But video game be video game, baby, and they apply. But for Voltaic community, that I have to be more conscious of finding these articles. Chat, anyone know how to get the video to actually fill the screen? I haven't used Twitch in a big, and it's acting like it's gotten smaller version on a black background at the moment. I've never seen that. You know, honestly, I think it looks pretty average size. I would say it's even too big. Just kidding, just kidding. Love it. Thanks. Please help out Rainbow Meowie. Please. Thank you, thank you. On desktop. Oof. I think it's yeah, I think it's theater mode. That's my first guess. Alright. Players can perform up to 500 actions per minute, i.e. keyboard or mouse inputs, while simultaneously focusing at a level of attention that results in significant cognitive stress and high variance in physiological parameters. You know, the other interesting thing that this is like physical therapy stuff, but was really interesting. I thought someone found in their study that compared to traditional sport athletes and gross body movements, if you were to compare gross body to like fine motor movement, like intensity of the movements, you would find that esport and traditional sport athletes, they have a lot of the same intensity of their like body. But just because esport players are using fine motor, you don't think about it as much as like an athlete would using gross body. That and the fatigue of esport athletes is different than traditional sport athletes, because if you think about it, in a traditional sport, you can only work out so much. You can only run so long. You only jump so much before literally your body puts you into the ground. It'll shut down. You know what I mean? But if you extrapolate that and compare it to esport athletes, you think you can play longer because you're using fine motor skills or fine motor like abilities, which aren't as taxing as gross body. But just because you think you can use these fine motor skills longer doesn't mean it's as efficient. Doesn't mean that you don't burn out. It doesn't mean that you still can't get injured. It's just because you're in a seated position that you think you can do it for longer, but just because you think you do it, it doesn't mean it's as good. You know what I mean? All right. In conjunction with the cognitive stress, players may suffer from the corresponding harmful health effects of prolonged sitting. These include acute health risks such as deep vein thrombosis, which can be life-threatening if the thrombosis travels to the lungs and creates a pulmonary embolism. What? All right, I think the asterisk here is, I don't think that's very common, but at the same time, I wonder how long it would take for you to get a deep vein thrombosis. That being said, maybe it's even better that you move. Don't do that. That sounds terrible. Not a medical doctor, but sounds bad, and I want you to live. So sitting bad for long periods of time. Jeez. But here's the thing too. I wonder if like the same health risk that like an office worker that works for like 8 hours a day in like Japan that just like sits at the computer is just as bad as esports. Probably, you know. Okay, so aside from the acute health risks, the chronic health effects of repeated prolonged sitting are correlated with cardiometabolic risk factors and early mortality. So I'm guessing that sitting kills? Is that the thing? Cardiometabolic risk factors and early mortality. I'm thinking that's also like heart disease and stuff, because there's less activity, you're just sitting, which isn't good in general. Yeah, right? For Magic, the fuck? I didn't know that. I thought you just get fat and like lazy and like, you know, not very healthy and you get like stiff because you're sitting all the time. But these are big words for Elmo, and if they're big words for Elmo, that probably means that they're big bad words for Elmo, you know? All right, in addition, prolonged sitting acutely disrupts cerebral blood flow and may reduce oxygen supply to the brain. Okay, if I know anything, I would put my money on you want your brain to be very oxidized or have a lot of oxidization, because the more oxygen that goes to your brain, the more efficient and thinky thoughts you can do. So, bad. There's actually DVT risks just on flights, and some gamers will literally stay at their desk all day gaming longer than the flight. So, I didn't even think about that, because, dude, when I'm on flights, now that I'm older, I wear, like, compression socks. They're not sexy at all, but they're supposed to help with, like, circulations. That totally makes sense. Like, oh my god, that's a weird perspective, right? If you think about it like that. Like, okay, if you are sitting at your desk and the long flight thing happens, from a different perspective, would be really interesting to calculate how long you sat at your desk to like how many miles you flew that day, and then what's the distance. You know, you just sat down all day for this long flight. And of course, we're talking like you're not in first class, because let's be real, we are of the people, we're all peasants, you know what I mean? So like, oh my god, if you think about it like that, if you sat down for a 6-hour gaming session straight, that's like if you flew from Hawaii to California. Like that flight, you just sat down and just were sitting the entire time. And I guess like if you sat down for 12 hours, that's like Hawaii from like to like Japan. I never thought about it from that perspective. That's crazy. Often in weird positions that cut off circulation. Yeah, that's true. Dude, speaking of which, did you guys see the new proposal for cheaper flights, where they may introduce into the future not just smaller leg room, but also the standing option. Like, it's kind of like you lean, but you're not fully sitting. And they're going to increase the capacity of the plane by like 20% by like making people like stand lean in like this Six Flags like roller coaster thing. Standing option is crazy, right? I wore them to on my 11-hour flights. I wriggle my feet and stuff. I could never sit for that long, not getting up. Dude, at the same time, you may not think you can't do it, but dude, I wonder how often we kind of do that, you know? Just like sit down for long periods of time and not even think of that. But now with that perspective of how long the flight would be of just sitting and playing. Like how far could you have flew? You know, that's really interesting. So many TFT players do 24-hour streams. Okay, like I don't understand the 24-hour stream. Like, and like what I mean by that is like I don't understand if like you watch them sleep, or is it like, oh, I just gonna stream longer, or like that 36-hour streams, like is half like 12 hours or 8 hours of that stream just watching them sleep? Or do they just not stay up the entire time, and then we're getting one step closer to the Russian sleep experiment? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's cool. Yeah. All right. This disruption in neural metabolism can lead to mental fatigue, impaired cognition, and reduced executive functioning. Okay, when they say executive functioning, they're just talking about frontal lobe stuff, right? They're just talking about your ability to regulate stress, your ability to plan, do some strategies, impulse control, you know, all the thinky thoughts that are really good for gaming. Some of them stay up, some of them end up sleeping. You just watch them. Dude, just watch them. You just watch them. Is that a kink? That's gotta be a kink, right? Just watching someone sleep. I mean, I'm not here to kink shame. I'm just here to ask questions. Depends if it's just a 24. Oh, 24 hours sounds like torture. The only way I do that is if I'm getting paid. I guess you would. I mean, might be up your alley because I think they do. Right, pay you or dono, or like every time, or that might be a thing. Like if you're sleeping and they donate and they wake them up. I don't know. Could be. Depends if it's a 24-hour stream, day, or marathon stream where they're adding stream time for donos. For those, they'll end up sleeping on stream at some point. Yeah, it is. It's a kink. I would be scared to let people watch me sleep. I feel like people would be like, I don't know. Then I'd be self-conscious of how I sleep because I'm sure I snore, I grind my teeth, and I guess people want that, you know? I mean, if feeding people is a kink, then watching someone sleep deaf is. Feeding people's a kink? Like, open wide, nom nom nom. Like that? I guess so. I mean, hey. Everyone's got, you know. I was turned out during the sleeping. I tuned out during the sleeping instead. Yeah, I know that I saw this one TikTok where people like full adults like wearing diapers and like diaper play. I heard that's a thing. Huh? Constantly overfeeding someone and then watching them eat is a kink. Oh, like mukbangs? Like mukbangs? My ex had that. See, 4 a.m. match, you're supposed to like, I know someone that used to do that who I was close to. My friend, not. Hey man, whatever she's into or what they're into, you know, he, she, they into. Yeah, that one is like, yikes. No, like hose feeding? That's really weird. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, Rainbow. We're not here to shame anyone. We're just here to learn about the kinks, all right? Good thing I didn't get that, getting fat. And if you did get fat, that's out of love, right? That was love and support, for sure. All right. The relationship between prolonged gaming, executive function, and physical breaks have not been thoroughly investigated. I mean, I'm sure that, like, it hasn't been investigated, but we can imply it, you know? Love, she's trying to kill someone, lol. The people who are the ones being fed end up weighing like 300 pounds. Dude. More cushion for the pushing. Every roll is a whole, if you think about it. Yep, I'm just gonna leave that one there. Oh my god. Okay. It's like force feeding and stuff, like super grim. Like, are you talking like what's that, Fogwa? Like that, but like a person. Oh man, this stream is getting off the rails already. I love it. All right. Recently, Souza et al. Found a decrease in executive function in high-level gamers following 2.5 consecutive hours of competitive gameplay, regardless of physical activity levels. Okay, you can take that shit to the bank. Okay, now it looks like there's a ceiling to gameplay and sitting. So I think this is actually really good data. All right, so 2.5 hours of consecutive hours of competitive playing equals bad executive functioning. And the crazy part with this one is this line here, regardless of physical activity. So why I think that's important is because how many gamers, or if you're a gamer, they'll say like, oh my god, like when I ask gamers in general, or like pros, or maybe pros are different, but like aspiring pros, I ask them like, how many games can you play in a row? And they say, I can play like 80 games, man. I can play all day. This data says 2.5 hours before you actually start pooping out cognitively. So I wonder if you may not see or perceive your gameplay going down, but this data says that even after 2.5, it goes down. So how many games is that? 1, 2, what? That's 5 games maybe, if every game's 30 minutes. So 5 games in a row, and then you've hit cognitive exhaustion, cognitive function go down. I'm surprised you never heard about if there were like reports on this stuff. I mean, I'm on that. Maybe I'm on the different side of TikTok, girl. Off topic question, but where do you grow up? I'm just curious because you give me Florida vibes or East Coast somewhere. No, very far from it. Think like the opposite side and more south. I grew up in Hawaii. Thus the Aloha shirts. You know, some Aloha shirts. Yeah. Interesting. I've never been to Florida. I mean, I've been to, I think the furthest east I've been was Massachusetts, Boston one time. That's the furthest I've ever been. I mean, I plan to go to DC because I want to see like the museums. I'm like a museum nerd. I want to go through like the Smithsonian and all that kind of stuff, but I've never been. Yeah. I can only play like 3 games in a row if it's a tac shooter. Probably also 3 games in a row if you're like really high, really paying attention and you're really like locked in. You know what I mean? Because it really depends too, I think, how many games you can play in a row. Also depends on how intense and how focused you are. So for example, maybe you're playing with the boys and you're just having fun, you can probably play more games. But if you're probably playing for learning or you're trying to compete, you probably could play less games because you're using more cognitive functions. My guess also too would be you could probably play less games at a high level while on stream because you're probably focusing on both being entertaining or trying to win hard, or what people are thinking about you, or how are they perceiving you, or what you're doing and actually performing, so you're splitting your attention. So I think there is probably a difference too on the level, intensity, and goals of your game. Explains how TFT players tend to do like their 24-hour streams. Yeah, you know how to use TikTok, dude. Come on, man, get on it. It's great. Oh shit, that's cool. Yeah, dude, Hawaii's great. If you think about it, we're the most southern state, so maybe you can say I'm from the South. Wink. I don't know. It's a technicality. Probably more like 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. I don't think about that, right? Like, I think it's really interesting. Like, this fact. Now, the great part about this is I've dated like, yo, listen, you only got 5 games before you actually start going down on average, and here's the Sousa study, bro. What? You avoid TikTok like the plague. Bad enough people post them everywhere. I mean, I guess if you watch Reels or like YouTube, you can see it later. It's all the same, bro. It's all the same. But don't even get me started, because I'm like, my nighttime scroll where it's like turned into like 4 a.m. and I'm just like in this, like, I should go to sleep but I can't. P Diddy, bro. I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I wish I could stop, but I can't. You know, it's like watching a perpetual train crash. I keep getting freaky reels on YouTube, and I literally am just looking for proper videos. I mean, those are the videos, girl. 4 a.m. mention. Bro, you like Inception that time in my head. Today I went to bed at 11 a.m. On purpose? Good morning? Don't do that. Alright, this current study set out to expand on these findings to evaluate executive function. Executive functions changing following a short active break, 6-minute walking, as compared with a short passive break, 6-minute resting, in competitive first-person shooter FPS. In a competitive first-person shooter, FPS esport players during 2 hours of gameplay. The primary outcome was to evaluate executive function changes. Secondary outcomes included gameplay performance as well as players' perceptions. Okay, so this is their intervention. Short break of active walking compared to just laying in an FPS. So shout out to FPS players, yo. I used to love staying up, but sleeping early and actually sleeping at night is so much better. Well, also here's the thing too, like the really interesting thing about the sleep is like when you're a teenager, you actually shift later, right? Like you wanna, that's why you're more active at night. It's harder for you to fall asleep during, proper times, but then that doesn't really match a school schedule. That's why I think when some schools like shifted it to 9 o'clock starts or 10 o'clock starts, they probably got better results. But the unlucky thing is then you got to stay at school like 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever later. But for the teenage brain, that's better, because I guess it's a biological thing. Because if you're able to stay up later at night, then the dinosaurs wouldn't come eat you, or you could be more alert and awake to defend yourself if things tried to eat you. So that's just a biological shift. But then as you get older, then you tend to fall asleep later. You don't actually need as much sleep. And so, so the data's kind of, shifted. I mean, yes, I think survival from like a biological perspective, you know what I mean? But also, it's also socially reinforced because it's quieter at night. Your friends are on at night. You want to hang out. You want to rebel and be, a little bit different. People are telling you this is good sleep help. You're like, whatever, I can do whatever I want. So I think that it is a biological and like a social thing at the same time. I don't like all these effects the youth are using nowadays. They're not good on my photosensitivity, and it's like, just really, I don't get TikTok, yo. Delayed sleep phase, woo! Yeah, I'm biologically wired to be the night guard. Hey, let's be real. If I had someone to guard me, I'd want Rainbow Meowth. And someone I wouldn't want to piss off, Rainbow Meowth. I also saw another TikTok. I want to say research, but bro, it's a TikTok. And side note, I wonder how many people say, oh, according to research, but the research is TikTok. Just like your parents would say, oh, I saw some research, or I saw an article, and that's Facebook. But anyway, I saw this other thing where, how you're supposed to walk like 10,000 steps a day? And if you actually did walk 10,000 steps, it takes like, an hour or something, hour and a half to do. Maybe if you walked like on a flat surface, just try to get 10,000 steps straight. I saw a TikTok where in Japan, they developed this technique where if you walked 3 minutes and then walked 3 minutes at a faster pace and then walk 3 minutes at a slower, like a regular pace, and then 3 minutes at a faster pace, that you could actually walk your 10,000 steps in like 30 minutes instead. But I'm thinking because you're switching between like quickly and then walking again, that your brain doesn't register that you're actually doing all the steps, and it's more gamified and more fun versus just walking. Japanese people, man, they think of everything. All right, so if you want to set up this study for yourself, this is how you do it. All right, it's a randomized measure. Oh, this was during COVID. Okay, I'm just gonna glaze through this because this is where people I lose them. This is like for the nerds like me to read later, but I just want to paraphrase for you. Okay, this was conducted virtually during COVID, so you can take this shit to the bank. People will be bored, yo. And I guess that's a perfect time to do a video game sit-down study, is when everyone is sitting down during COVID, not being able to move. All right, they did it through Zoom and texting and Discord. All right, so they were able to do the interviews. Okay, so they got 21 people. It's not a big N, but it's not bad. 12. Hey, this is pretty good. Honestly, 9 women. Typically, there's not a lot of women that do these studies, so that's pretty good. From 7 different countries, so we are multinational. They even get BMI. Okay. Sometimes I saw TikTok overflow elsewhere reports it to Instagram when they're added their versions, yeah. And it's a life hack insert everyone has already done. My amazing ramen recipe. Yo, Rainbow Meowth, I feel like why do I feel like you're attacking me? I use those hooks too. Nah, I don't. Maybe I should. Dude, something, like I said, hot take, and like people are flaming me for my hot takes. It's like, yeah, that's why they're hot. Or like, oh, this is not a hot take. This is something established by research. I'm like, okay, well, no one does it, so I guess it's not a hot take, but maybe it's a hot take. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get clicks. One transgender woman. Hey, let's go. Hormone replacement therapy. Sick. You got people recruited from these places: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord. Where's Reddit? Twitch is the largest. Okay, okay, okay. Cool. All right, then they used SPSS to do the data. All right, here's how they did it, baby. Fluorescent mentioned? I don't know, dude. Honestly, if Fluorescent did this, this would be legit, because that would mean that more pros would do this. Because honestly, if you could do a study with pros, that would be awesome. Because I'll be real with you, it's hard for you to make pros do things they don't want to do. So if you were able to get to a team to like do a study for 4-6 weeks, damn, that's pretty good. All right, so data was collected on 4 days within with at least 24 hours between each day. Okay, followed by 3 intermittent days. FPS gameplay lasted around 120 to 135 minutes. And for you to know, that's 2 hours plus or minus 15. Okay. The 3 days consisted of 1 continuously gameplay. Okay. With no breaks. A 6-minute walking break with 60 to 75 minutes of gameplay before and after. And a 6-minute supine resting break. I believe that's on your back. With 60 to 75 minutes of gameplay before and after. Okay, so I believe it's play, walk, play, lay down, play. So I think these are 2 conditions. You know what? I'll be with you. If I did this study too, if I was going to participate in any study, I'd want the placebo between you and me. Because I want to get paid, but I wouldn't want anything to happen to me, good or bad. Just give it a placebo. How do you feel about trans women in sports? I feel like that's a very interesting question. You know, I think trans women in esports is great. I mean, I don't see any like contact. I think it's very interesting. On the other side, I think it's very controversial, and I think people are using it politically. But shrug. I think it's hard to have an opinion because I'm a dude, and I don't think female to male trans athletes like will it affect that much. I think the other way it does affect more, but as a dude, like, I don't think it affects us, which is unlucky. Oop. It's like back in the day, looking for recipes online, and people are like, best cake recipe ever. Do you know what it reminded me of, Rainbow Meowie? Like, during Elf, best coffee in NYC. You did it. Take cake box misprepared as directed and put cherries on it. Bing. So good. Of course, I heard about that cough syrup chicken thing. I live in NYC. Dude, that's like the movie during Christmas. You did it! I always have that joke when I see something. Oh my god, that's so good. It's the best. You did it! Okay. Intervention was randomized, using line square design, 15-minute window for gameplay was allowed for participants to finish any active game. Okay, so they didn't like hard cut them off. This was done by texting the subjects 10 minutes before the 60-minute marker and 10 minutes before the 120 marker. Bro, this is like the chillest study. All right, begin playing. Okay, stop. You done? So low impact. I love it. Like, you didn't even like sit them in a room and watch them. They're like shooting text messages, bro. That's awesome. Subjects were told to finish the current game and text investigators as soon as the game was finished. This did not impact on our study, as all games were able to be completed within the time frame. Okay, furthermore, subjects were asked to try to maintain a similar diet. Okay, so they tried to... That's also really important. That's also really, really important. I'm glad that they mentioned that. Because could you imagine if they actually really tried to like improve everything in their diet, and then like they could do more versus like just eat like shit like I usually do? Okay. Because I mean, the reason they're doing this is just straight for like consistency, right? That's what this is. Because if you're not eating at the same time or sleeping at the same time, Rainbow Meowie, then they could throw off your data because it's not consistent, and you could have different levels of energy or whatever. So very smart. Diet's consistent predominantly of small snacks and sandwiches prior to gaming. Bro, would be really sick if like would make me more into the study or like me as a participant if they're like, oh, we'll DoorDash you your food, you know, to keep it consistent, or we're like, we'll like HelloFresh you all your food to keep it consistent. Everyone's getting the same food, which would have been sick, you know. Yeah, I'd be useless. There's no pattern. Only that will be later than expected. A, and in that way, you're consistent. All right. Favorite meal, bro. Okay, I have like I've been told by my doctor that I need to get healthier, and like I actually talked to a dietitian the other day to like really get my nutrition on like point. But I would say I'm a sucker for steak, burgers. I love me a good burger. Um, you know, steak's so good, bro. Medium rare. Steak. I love carbs. I love chips. But yeah, I would say like all of Olive Garden, bro. Dude, Italian food slaps. Italian food slaps. Mexican food slaps. Me, I'd go Japanese over Chinese. Slaps. See, the part of that, the thing with Olive Garden that's sad though is like I want to keep eating, but my tummy can't hold it all in. KBBQ, oh slaps. Oh, but then I got gout one time, and that kind of like makes me weary about too much meat because of the gout, bro. The sheet has never been so heavy. You know what's also really crazy? Wendy's is good. We went to Carl's Jr. like a month ago, and we went like we got whatever we wanted. We like got like a Carl's Jr. and we got onion rings and like poppers and stuff like that. That shit came out to like $60 for 2 people. It's like, what the fuck happened? You know who had gout flare? Who did? Oh, had to get, bro, you know? I feel that. Here's the thing. I didn't get treated because I was like, I don't want the medicine, because if I take the medicine and I take it, then the gout comes back, then I'm dependent on the medicine. So I just like dark cherry juiced and celery seed oil, like capsules and shit. The farts were like really bad. And the burps, ugh. Oh. VCT America's just started? Okay, I had to watch that. This was super bad. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a G2 stan. But bro, 4 a.m. if you gotta go watch VCT, you let me know. Alright. The 6-minute break was based on the findings by Christmas at all. That was your last. EG! G2. I'm saying it's no team. I like. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm a G2 stan because we used to work with the guard, so like the core of the guard is still there. Love them all. Also, bro, I'm not gonna lie. A couple players I always love watching net, bro. C9 had some pop off moments, baby. Dude, Oxy, that kid is bonkers, man. That guy is bonkers. Alright. C9 is hit or miss. Oxy is nuts, though. I know, right? Like, I wish as a team, you know, they could really pull through. But, dude, I love watching me some Oxy clips, dude. That guy is nuts. C9 trolls too much. They throw easy rounds. I mean, sometimes, man. Sometimes they do. I just want to see Oxy on the op. That's all I want to see. That's it. Alright, the 6 minutes breaks was based on findings by Christmas et al., who found a 3-minute walking break at 30-minute improved attention and executive functioning. That's funny. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna double this. But did you know that right here? 30 minutes. A 3-minute walking break at 30 minutes, improved attention and executive functioning. Honestly, when you think about it though, I think I've had the best ideas when I was walking or thinking about something, like on a walk. Like for some reason it just hits different. My ass can't stay seated for long. Hey, get up and walk, baby girl. Okay, breaking up esports games every 30 minutes is not reasonable. Yes, therefore we have chosen to break at 60 minutes of play using a cumulative break time of 6 minutes. All participants were required to play using the same FPS game title, same gaming setup, and not change any equipment they used in previous sessions. All data were collected within the same time and day across sessions. Ooh, I hope they say what game they played. Beautiful table. Wait, what? And it's 12. What does this mean? Oh, percent. Okay, so most of these kids happen to live in the United States, Netherlands, France, and England. That's sick. We talking high schoolers. There's some college kids. Nothing over that. Caucasian, followed by white. Everyone is right-handed, pretty much. Okay. Valorant, they use Valorant, Overwatch, Team Fortress 2. Dude, good times, man. Team Fortress 2. Counter-Strike, Rainbow, and Apex. Ooh, 100 hours weekly? Damn. Okay, what's the ranks? Top 500 globally? Wow. Small percent. Masters, most of these people are diamond. Gold, and other. My iron brethren, son. Oh, same as their own, not same as each other's. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's like they're comparing the games, not like all the games together. My rank in Valo, bro, it's bad. It's bad. I would say I'm pretty much a wood. But here's the thing. Like, if I actually practiced aim and shit, I'm pretty sure, or I played consistently, I'm pretty sure that, like, I'd be better. But because I'm an adult, I don't have time to play as much as I want to. That being said, bro, I got some sick clips I want to post later. Because when I do play, I definitely need to record a little something. I have to try to play Initiator. Because if I play Duelist, I end watching the game. You know what I mean? Which is sad. It's okay, we all got started somewhere. Thank you, 4AM Magic. Thank you, bro. That's what I need. I'll live off that. So I'm trying to make me have the same settings. I'd be like, nope, no purse. I need accessibility options and stuff. I'm pretty sure, like, they can use that stuff. Okay, so, alright, day 1. They completed a survey. Online executive function tests were administered through... Dude, what is this, though? I really wonder what the executive functioning tasks were. That's interesting. Okay, day 2, 3, and 4. They connected the researcher, completed the gaming session. Okay, cool. Okay, here's the protocol. If you yourself... I'll put this... Here you go. If you yourself want to do this, okay? What they did was... Oh, they did Stroop. Okay. Stroop Tower London basically is that one they have like 3 different like they have 3 different pegs and you have to like use one hand to like move the tower from one peg to another, you know what I mean? So I guess that's the warm-up test or whatever. The cognitive warm-up, interesting. Oh, 100% discipline beats talent. Absolutely. I agree. I played the tutorial for Val at one point. Got motion sick. Lol. Alright, so they did like a cognitive warm-up with the Stroop test for 15 minutes. Then, this is the first condition. Then they played for 45. Then they took a 6-minute walk. Then they played again. And then they did Stroop again. I guess it's like cognitive cooldown. That's really interesting. I never thought about that. I really wonder how that would work in real life if you actually did that for yourself. Because, I mean, think about if you physically stretch. Maybe that's the difference here. If you physically stretched and then you played and then you took a break, that's a good modification. I gotta go hang with a friend. Have a great stream. Thanks for A Magic. I'll see you later. See you Monday. Have fun with your friend. Please be safe out there, my guy. Like, you could probably duplicate that with stretch, gameplay, walk. They did the same thing, but then lay down. Bro, this is mine instead. Instead, this would be like, Stroop, game, bitch and moan, lay down, play again, Stroop. See you, babe. Bye. Alright, so, and then this arm 3, this is the Stroop, just play, no breaks, go. Okay. All right. This is the walking intervention. Participants were asked to find a place near their gaming setup that were able to walk for 6 minutes on a flat surface back and forth while holding their smartphone in their hand while to hear the investigators' cues. Before gaming, the investigators instructed participants to open the testing links and begin the test. Once the completed tests were confirmed, the participants logged into their game and told the investigator when they began. At 55 minutes, the investigator instructed the participants to finish their current game and alert them when they do. The average time before each break was 1 hour and 7 minutes. This is good. This is good data. All right. Each investigator used the same verbiage. You will now get up and walk for 6 uninterrupted minutes. You are to walk briskly but comfortable. I will let you know when you are halfway done. After, I'll ask you how hard your efforts were while walking using a scale between 6 and 20. Okay, I show you. The 6 to 20 Borg rating perceived exertion scale, which is shown to participants via the video conference screen. The Borg scale is a validated scale to measure how hard a person feels they're working during the physical activity and has been validated to correlate heart rate and perceived effort during a video game play. I mean, I think they also could have, like, yeah, right? Like, how hard your efforts walking were. I mean, the interesting thing is that's perceived too, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could have gotten a better set of data if they had, like, a wearable for this piece, or if they used, like resting heart rate to, post-walking heart rate, but I guess perceived is cool too. That sounds more like something they'd ask my chronically ill butt. Yeah, I mean, what's your perception of you think your work is? I mean, that's cool. I'm sure that had an effect. How you perceive to be working. I'm sure that's something. Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard about this perceived thing. Interesting. You learn something new every day. All right, the participants then returned directly to gaming. At the 55 marker, they were instructed to alert the investigator when they completed the current game. The average time of the second gaming segment was 1 hour 7 minutes. Okay, so it was 1 hour 7 minutes, break 1 hour 7 minutes. So at least it's consistent. What is that? 1 hour 7 minutes. Is that 2 games? Probably. I mean, I'm thinking like Valorant or like CS. So I'm thinking like it's like 2 games break, 2 games break. Okay, on completion of gaming, RPE, which is the perceived rating exertion scale, was recorded, and the number of wins, losses, and KDA was recorded. That's interesting. Okay, following this, participants were instructed to complete the online executive functions test again. KDR is an individual FPS player statistic with the number of opponents' kills. I guess KDA, I don't know. KDR, okay. Divided by the number of players' deaths recorded across an entire game. A KDR greater than 1 indicates more kills were recorded than deaths. For example, a player with 23 kills and 16 deaths would have KDR of 1.44 for that game. Math. Pre-ill walking was not something I'd say that was relevant question for walking back and forth. Yeah, I mean, I guess during COVID, right, where everyone's stuck in their room, they're like, okay, we can't go outside, just like walk around like a caged animal back and forth and see what happens. Fair. This is the one I'd want to be in, bro. This is the test I'd want to be in. Not the walking one. I want the supine rest intervention, okay? The same procedure used for walking intervention were followed for the rest intervention, except instead of walking, the participants laid supine, so like on their backs for 6 minutes with their eyes open next to their gaming area. So not sleeping, just laying on their backs, right? Just laying on their backs. The reason participants kept their eyes open was to avoid any rest of the eyes that was not given while doing the 6-minute walk break. Consistency. The first gaming segment before the rest averaged 1 hour and 3 minutes, while the subsequent post rest gaming session averaged 1 hour 2 minutes. So again, looks like very consistent. So 1 hour 3 minutes, go, play, lay down, 1 hour 3 minutes. Nice consistency. And then you got to your continuous gaming session. Participants were asked to complete the executive function measures before playing, following 115 minutes they were to complete during their current game. The average gaming time during continuous gaming was 2 hours and 5 minutes straight. Damn. I really wonder. Okay. Oh, they did Stroop and Tower London. Okay, the outcome measures was the color word Stroop with keyboard. The color word Stroop is a measure. Okay, basically it's like you read the word, not the color. Tower London's the one I explained with the 3 things. And then they did an exit summary survey. Okay. Almost skipped to... I think I'm going to scoot down to... What is this? Number of correct ST time. Okay, I'm going to... Ooh, interesting. Look at this. Higher KDA. Higher percentage of games won. Bro. I mean, these are kind of similar. They perceived that they did more work when they walked. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna skip down to results. I mean, discussion. Oh, look, the perception here. Exit surveys. Okay. I'm just gonna read the discussion because results is all the math stuff that no one wants to hear. All right. This study was conducted virtually due to the lockdown regulation imposed globally from the COVID-19 pandemic during July through December 2020. Comparing a 6-minute active break, a 6-minute passive break, and no break on competitive SPF player performance and executive function. And it is the first to demonstrate that an active break improves executive functioning compared with a passive break while not impacting game performance. An active break improves executive functioning compared to a passive break while not impacting game performance. Interestingly, the continuous play, no break, performed superior to the resting break. Okay, so don't take a break lying down. Just keep playing, baby. This study showed the fuck. Hence, a resting break may be determined. Oh, hence a resting break may be a detriment to esport players. Whoa. That is fascinating. Okay. The complexity of fast-paced demands of SPS gameplay places significant demand on attention, cognition, working memory, and executive functioning. In gaming on a neutral basis, elite esport players demonstrate enhanced cognitive control and attention. These cognitive demands elicit a sympathetic nervous system response presented by heart rate variability, heart rate fluctuations, respiratory rate increases, ventilation changes, and blood pressure changes. This type of demand can lead to mental fatigue, cognitive decline, and possibly poor performance over time. Okay, this is good data. Sympathetic. Mental fatigue, cognitive decline, and poor performance over time. Probably due to the cognitive fatigue, or mental fatigue, and cognitive decline, if I had to take a guess. Alright. This project studied FPS gamers ranked at a highly competitive level. FPS games required a rapid speed and reaction time, fine motor, hand-eye coordination, and high amounts of executive functioning and simultaneous actions. FPS gameplay also facilitates HR variability, which is heart rate fluctuations, and increased cortisol levels. Finally, 2 hours of continuous esports gameplay have resulted in less accuracy and more impulsivity. Probably because of the cognitive fatigue. Okay, given the cognitive demands required for high-level esports and the multiple hours of being seated, it is of interest to players and health professionals to incorporate practical ways to improve on performance while also improving health. To date, there is no studies that have comprehensively enhanced the physiological parameters of gamers. Therefore, the mechanisms described below of the understanding effects of prolonged sitting are based on previous studies in other populations and have been well established. Okay. Alright, cerebral blood flow and prolonged sitting. Wait. Maybe the results are important. The fuck? Maybe we gotta reinterpret the table, bro. What the fuck? Okay. Alright, let's go. Okay. Cerebral blood flow and prolonged sitting. The middle cerebral artery accounts for 70-80% of the brain's perfusion. In healthy individuals, who were not gamers, uninterrupted sitting for 4 hours can cause significant decrease in MCA blood flow velocity. This may not seem relevant, but this decline has been correlated to decreased focus and fatigue. Interesting. Simply taking a 2-minute light walking break every 30 minutes prevented these declines and improved cerebral autoregulation. Moreover, Weinberg et al. Found that 3 minutes of light walking following 30 minutes of being seated reduced fatigue and improved cognition in overweight adults. Although we are unable to collect biological variables in the study, we demonstrated an improvement in decision making and impulsivity following a 6-minute light walking break in We demonstrated an improvement in decision-making and impulsivity following a 6-minute light walking break at the 30-minute marker. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay, endothelial function and prolonged sitting. Thrombolytic events are a concern for gamers despite age or activity level. The underpinning mechanism resulting in DVTs is endothelial function changes and blood flow resulting from bouts of prolonged sitting. Following 1 hour of sitting, there is a significant reduction of superficial femoral artery flow mediation dilation and a decrease in, oh my god, popliteal flow mediation dilation, which can last up to 3 hours or more. Furthermore, endothelial changes in blood volume changes create an environment where that can create blood pooling and more dangerous DVTs or PEs. However, these blunted and vascular impairments caused by prolonged sitting were reversed with very light, short bouts of activity. Okay, so moving whilst before sitting can actually not kill you. It's good to do that, apparently. Do that, because it doesn't allow your blood to pool. If only my last job allowed that, bro. This, you should tell him, bro. According to data, this is the most important thing. Okay, exercise intensity. This is why they want to do that rating. Okay, De Los Harris et al. Exercise gamers using hits for 15 minutes at the REP of 15.7, which translates to working hard or heavy. The average REP for participants in the walking condition of the study was 10.5. which translates to light, intense effort. Interestingly, the REP for gamers was higher than the REP for the walking break. The average perceived intensity level of gameplay was 13.5, which is somewhat hard, further demonstrating the perceived demands of gaming. This study demonstrates improvement in cognitive abilities with as little as 6 minutes of light walking. Additionally, 73.9% of participants perceive that the active walking break positively helped their gaming performance. Based on the results of the IPAQ, there is no relation between physical activity level and preference for a walking break. Interesting. So perceptionally also, it seems like that's a thing. Okay. Alright, this study has several implications. First, gaming. Is this a book? No, this is an article, baby. This is an article. And this, you can find this on Google Scholar. This is called Breaking Up Prolonged Sitting with a 6-minute walking break. Improves executive function in women and men in esports. You think I can read books? I think that's actually copyrighted if I read a book. I tried to look it up because I want to read books and do it, but that's maybe I couldn't do it. But these articles. And the best thing, welcome to the stream, man, is all these articles can be found on the Google Scholars. Isildur. Yes. All right. The study has several implications. First, gaming performance and executive function were investigated in relation to an active 6-minute break and a passive 6-minute break compared with continuous gameplay. While either intervention did not impact game performance, the active break showed an increase in speed with no change in accuracy, whereas a passive break had no change. Okay. So maybe the performance of the game isn't there, but there was a change in speed. Hey, man, I still take that. I'll still take that increase. Because, I mean, hey, maybe if I have more speed, I can do more things. We'll take those. We'll take that. All right, continuous play was slightly better than the resting break. That's so interesting to me, bro. I would think that even taking a break just to rest your brain is better, but I guess once your brain starts going, you just gotta play through that shit, maybe. But you know what's even better than playing through it? Walking. All right. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. Okay. Second, this is the first study to compare competitive gamers by gender in terms of executive functioning and gaming performance. Finally, this study showed the efficacy of conducting a virtual clinical trial. I guess so. Yeah, I mean, this is COVID. This is important in the gaming environment for a few reasons. One, many investigators do not have easy physical access to esports players, and two, in cases of pandemic or other social distancing, there are valid and effective tools that can be used to assess outcomes virtually. Interesting. Okay. There have been several calls for improving gamers' health, with exercise being the primary focus. However, there have been a fair misconception that if one exercises regularly, one is not prone to negative health ramifications of prolonged sitting. Being less sedentary with frequent breaks may have greater health impacts than increasing exercise. Interesting. So it's not what the study is finding is. I also think they would say that exercise doesn't hurt and it's probably good for you. But what this even shows you is that you don't have to do crazy amounts of exercises to get benefits in your gameplay or your cognition. All you need to do is get up every hour for 6 minutes, walk around, and that's going to improve your cognitive efficiency. So you don't have so when gamers say, or when people say oh, it's so tiring to go to the gym, bro, all you need to do is get up and walk for 6 minutes or 3 minutes. I guess it's 3 minutes every 30 minutes. 3 minutes for every 30 and 6 minutes for every hour. And if you just get up and walk around like a caged animal, because these people were doing it in COVID, walking back and forth for a higher intensity or whatever, you don't get thrombosis, you move your blood around, your speed goes up. Crazy. This study provides evidence that a 6-minute walking break improved executive functioning following a single bout of prolonged gaming, and that an active break was preferred compared to a resting break. These findings suggest further investigation into multiple bouts of prolonged gaming to further understand the long-term implications an active break may have in competitive gamers. So, all right. What I'm thinking about. Also, even if you do it, you can even placebo yourself to believe you're going to do it to improve, because even the perception of getting up and moving your body, right here, boom. How do you believe the 6-minute break impacted your game performance? It helped 73.9%. Here's the thing too. If you believe it, you can placebo yourself to like, okay, I'm gonna take this break. I'm gonna walk around. It's gonna help me. Boom, placebo yourself. That works. How do you believe the 6-minute break impacted your game performance? Positively. Boom. No impact. Okay, well that's still better. You just gotta believe. You just gotta believe. Okay, which of the following do you think is the most effective to help your game performance? Walking, break. Okay, so the perception is really important here, which I think is really, really important. The perception of you even moving around, regardless of the data, is probably going to improve your performance because you believe that you're doing something to help your gaming or to improve your cognition or executive function. I'm not saying that it doesn't work because the study did say that it does work, but even just this belief part is massive. I really wonder if this is like, here, let me read this. Okay. I mean, it really didn't improve your cognition. It seemed like the Stroop stuff stayed the same, right? The Stroop stuff stayed the same. The time in which you're able to answer it. Okay. This is your heart rate, the thingy, your belief. I think men believed it more than women, or thought they worked harder than women. Reaction time decreased. Look at this, it did make you faster. It made you faster. Interesting. The continuous, I guess once you get going, these are this almost like they remain the same, or this is not as great. I wonder why that is though. I really wonder why that is. Like, I wonder if it's because like you've stopped and then you're just laying on the ground doing nothing, opening your eyes. I wonder if you're like, that was fatiguing too, or like you're trying to keep yourself awake and not fall asleep and that's also tiring. I don't know. Okay. Their kill death ratio is higher. So I guess you want to have a high KDA or higher KDA, but I mean, it's not that significant. So 1.2, 1.2. I mean, negligible. I can only say that your KDA is better if... Ooh, wait, what is this? Continuous was better for women. Worse for men. Okay, percentage of game won. Continuous is better for women, right? Better for women than in men. So if you're a girl, I guess you keep playing, and if you're a guy, you better stop. Interesting. But yeah, speed is the biggest thing. Speed is the biggest thing, I would say. Reaction time. So, I guess if I was going to use this study, some things I'm going to take away from this is, A, get up every 6 minutes, every 30 minutes. B, it improves your reaction time and speed if you have an active break versus just a straight lay on the ground one. Also, I guess if you're going to choose an active break of doing nothing versus continue to play through, I guess you play through. Yeah, this is good data. Also, executive functioning goes down after 2.5 hours. I think that's huge for me. Like, I never thought about that. And I guess the study also reinforces that too. So, now you know. Whew! Man, I learned some things today. I hope you learned some things today too. Really interesting. I think it's still blowing my mind that laying on the ground and taking a break and just vegging out isn't really great for rejuvenating your cognitive endurance. I think that's really interesting because like, oh, I'm just gonna take a break. I'm just gonna lay, you know, and that actually is not as good as if you go and take a break and go walk around, change your scenery, get up from your desk. And I guess the other thing that was really interesting is if you think that you need to go to the gym and be healthy as a gamer, that's not necessarily the case. All you really need to do to improve cognitive function and speed is get up and walk back and forth in your hallway for 6 minutes at a brisk pace. That's all you need. So in that case, we really don't have an excuse to not do it. So maybe that's just us being lazy. But yeah, it's crazy that just for 6 minutes an hour, 6 minutes per every hour, you can actually walk and have an active break and do better. So, what excuse do we have? None. And if you are making excuses, oh, I don't have the gym pass, and just walk around your house and you're good. So I guess that's the takeaway for me. Sick. Awesome. Well, listen, if you want to learn more about me and you want to improve your cognitive function or think about how to break up your training to be more efficient for you, visit my website, psychsensei.com, baby, and fill out that free consultation form, and you and I can sit down, see what's kind of going on, see what's best practices for you, and get you on your way, baby. Also, while you're there, you might as well follow me on the TikToks, the LinkedIns, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the YouTubes, whatever social media that you enjoy. You name it, I probably got it. So check me out there. Follow me there. And also, please be safe. Have fun this weekend. If you're part of the Voltaic community, I'll see you on Monday at 2 p.m. PST. We can hang out. You can ask me all the questions. Maybe I'll throw in a little bit of Ryan rants in there about something while people trickle in. But thanks for coming. Raymond Meowie, shout out to you, girly. 4am Magic, thanks for stopping by for a little bit. Isildur, thanks for coming and hanging out too. Come back next time. I'll be back Monday. Yes, I'll be doing the Voltaic, but also Monday around 6 is my goal. So I'm trying Monday and Friday around 6. Our friends, please be safe. Please be smart. Remember, stronger mental wins. Love ya. Mwah. Bye.